Alright, today we're going to talk about los mandatos informales or informal commands. So los mandatos in English means commands. Alright, we use these quote-unquote to commands when we're talking about people that we would use the to form, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Before we get started, I do want to make note that today we are just going to focus on one type of command. I'll give you a little bit of background information on both, but today we're just going to focus on one, we'll do some practice, and then we'll continue on. Alright, so when you think the word of command, what comes to mind? Alright, when do we use commands in English? Alright, well, we use commands to tell someone to do something. So, it's not necessarily, don't eat yellow snow, or do your homework. Alright? They can be a little less subtle. We don't always have to sound so demanding. Let's look at some examples. Be careful. Have a good weekend. Take out your homework. You'll notice I use commands a lot in Spanish class. Now, informal commands are used when talking to someone we would address in the to form. Simple enough. Let's look at some examples. For example, talking to your friends, talking to a younger sibling, or a teacher talking to his or her student. Now, we can categorize these examples in English, like be careful, have a good weekend, and take out your homework, because we don't use a subject. Notice we don't say, you be careful, or you have a good weekend, or you take out your homework. So that's how in English we know that those are commands. Now we've got two types of commands. We've got affirmative commands and we've got negative commands. Now affirmative commands tell someone to do something. For example, close the window and set the table. You should be filling out your examples on the first part of your notes now. Now, negative commands, on the other hand, tell someone not to do something. For example, don't close the door or don't go to the store. Maybe don't rhyme. Get it? Alright, so today we are just going to focus on affirmative commands, so you won't be filling any other parts of the negative commands on your notes. The reason why we're going to pump the brakes a little bit is because they are not formed the same way. So we're going to get you comfortable with affirmative commands and then we'll transfer you over to the negative. Alright, so how do you form affirmative commands in Spanish? It's very simple. All you're going to use is the el-ella conjugation in the present tense. So it's important that we know our present tense conjugations. Let's look at some examples. So we know one of our new verbs, lavar, is to wash. So in present tense, the conjugation is lava. So if we wanted to create a command, we could say lava los platos, wash the dishes. Another example, an ER verb is barrer, to sweep. So our third person singular conjugation is barre. And if we wanted to create a command, barre el suelo, sweep the floor. And an IR verb, abrir, to open, remember, ER and IR verbs have the same L and ella conjugation, so it would be abre. And our command could be abre la puerta, open the door. So those are all examples of commands and how they're formed. But of course, what would Spanish class be without some irregulars? We in fact have 8 verbs that have regular affirmative commands. Now, before I get started, if you don't know what these verbs mean in English, you might want to write their meaning down on your notes. Decir, to say or to tell, and our affirmative command is di. Hacer, to do or to make, haz. Ir, to go, ve. Poner, to put or to place, pon. Salir, to leave or to go out, sal. Ser, to be, is se. Notice there's an accent on that E. Tener, to have, ten. And venir, to come, ven. Now we've got a little saying to help you remember these 8 irregulars. Are you ready for this? Ben Diesel has ten weapons say. You're going to have to use a little German accent there, but notice, Ben Diesel has ten weapons say. Our 8 irregular commands, affirmative commands. All right, now you're going to flip to the back side of your notes, and this is your first opportunity to para y practica. So I've got 4. You're going to tell your younger sibling what to do the following chores. So I've got 4 verbs that I would like you to change into commands. So go ahead and hit pause and change those into commands now. All right, let's see how you did. Planchar la ropa, or iron the clothes. Oops, and our order, there we go, plancha la ropa. All right, poner la mesa is an irregular one, so it would be pon la mesa or set the table. If you wanted to tell a sibling to go to the store, you would say ve a la tienda. And then if you want to tell someone to cut the grass, corta el césped. All right, those are your affirmative commands. Remember, very easy to form. All we use is the el-ella conjugation, and we've got 8 irregulars, so make sure that you're focusing on those 8 irregulars. And make sure you write down any notes, and we will come back to class and practice.